Aldridge has more.
Until now, only 12 women had won the Peace Prize in its history. Today, the Nobel Committee went further than it ever had before in recognising the role of women in furthering the cause of peace.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Norwegian Nobel Committee has decided that the Nobel Peace Prize for 2011 is to be divided in 3 equal parts between Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, Leima Bowie and توكل Karaman.
Ellen Johnson Sirleaf has been president of Liberia since 2005, tackling the huge twin tasks of reconciliation and reconstruction after the brutal civil war, while the other Liberian peace laureate, Leima Bowie, had challenged the warlords with her group of Christian and Muslim women. And توكل Karaman started her work for human rights and press freedom in Yemen before the start of the Arab Spring uprisings, which many had suggested the Nobel Committee would want to reflect in some way.
We have included the Arab Spring in this prize, but we have put it in a particular context, and I think the most important context, namely if one fails to include the women in the revolutions and in new democracies, there will be no new democracy.
After learning that she was among the recipients of this year's prize, توكل Karaman said she dedicated her win to all the activists of the Arab Spring, and it was a victory for what she called Yemen's revolution. Ellen Johnson Sirleaf being sworn in for a role which she saw as helping to advance the cause of all women in Africa, especially the poor, a goal, she told the UN, that demanded more action from the international community.
Poverty, illiteracy, disease and inequality do not belong in the 21st century.
In the streets of Liberia's capital, Monrovia, the Nobel Committee's message driven home. It said today there would not be democracy and lasting peace in the world unless women obtained the same opportunities and influence as men at all levels of society. Mike Aldridge, BBC News.
Now, one of the joint winners, توكل Karaman of Yemen, is a 32-year-old mother of 3. She heads the human rights group Women Journalists Without Chains, and this is what she had to say after learning of her win.
Actually, I didn't know I was nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize till now. I only knew about it through BBC Arabic and Al Jazeera, so thank you very much. I'm so happy with this news, and I dedicate it to all the martyrs and wounded of the Arab Spring. I dedicate it to the martyrs and wounded of Tunisia, Egypt, Yemen, Libya and Syria, and to all the free people who are fighting for their rights and freedoms.
Those the initial reactions of توكل Karaman on learning that she'd become a joint winner of the Nobel Peace Prize. The other 2 winners, of course, are Liberian, and to discuss them, joining me in the studio is the BBC's Mark Doyle. He's our former West Africa correspondent. Mark, I know you know Ellen Johnson Sirleaf well yourself, but both of these women, tell me a little bit more about them and what this will mean for Liberia.
Well, Ellen Johnson Sirleaf was the first elected woman head of state in Africa, as Mike Aldridge said in his report there, and that did have a big effect around the region. There are other women who are now sort of moving forward, perhaps standing as candidates in other countries, not presidential candidates yet, but there certainly will be people who